Your future is now. Dilsa Bailey. I'm one of those people. You know, the one juggling about 100 balls or so up in the air at one time. The multitasker. I just can't stop thinking all the time. And I finally diagnosed my problem when I realized that mankind, or humans, according to scientific study, thinks about 60,000 thoughts a day. In my head, I know my mind processes at least that many in under a minute. So, after I did the self-diagnosis of determining why I was a continual multitasker, Madam Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters, guests, I decided to medicate myself with meditation. And here's what I've learned so far. Your future, my future, is now. Buddha said, to know what will happen to you in the future, simply observe what you're doing now. Have you ever heard of that? That's a quote from one of his teachings, the principle of causality. You may not have heard it put that way, but I'm sure you refer to it as karma, or as a Bible verse variation, you sow what you reap, or an old adage, what goes around comes around. The premise is cause and effect. Many spiritual teachings of many faiths always remind us to be careful of what we think, what we sow, and how we act. I wonder why. Because there are consequences, effects. So I'm here to ask each one of you today, what are you sowing for your future? Because your future is now. The principle of causality is all about cause. What goes around, what you sow, and about effect. What comes around and what you reap. Now, that's just not a spiritual or religious belief. It's a scientific fact, whether it's in the mental realm or the physical realm. For instance, scientists can confirm that our thoughts manifest actions, which manifest causes, which manifest effects, which manifest a chain reaction of causes and effects, and so on and so on. Now, how did I learn that? I'm taking a meditation class. And in this meditation class, there's two halves of the class. The first half, we sit still and quietly empty our minds, and then we march around the room slowly, leaving those thoughts behind. But it's what I learned in the second half that was really stunning to me, because it was actually something I already knew, but nothing that I had given a lot of thought to. You really like that for most of us, right? You go, oh, you know that aha moment? Well, the principle of causality, of course, is about cause and effect. But what I hadn't considered was all causes must have conditions. Let me say that one more time. All causes must have conditions. And it was explained to us this way. If you have an apple seed, The apple seed produces a tree. The tree produces an apple. The apple produces a seed, and the cycle continues over and over. However, before that cycle can even begin, you must have the proper conditions. It has to be planted in the proper conditions where it has air, fertile soil, water, sunshine, in order for it to thrive. But once that apple seed manifests that apple, then it can generate the cycle. But that seed, in its own existence, knows nothing else except its own future, because its future is an apple. And we're like that, whether we know that or not. As assuredly as you can hold an apple seed, you hold an apple. Because that apple is manifested by that seed, the same as we can manifest positive thoughts. We plant positive thoughts and follow your goals, creating the right conditions. And once you create the right conditions, you manifest the future that you're seeking, those thoughts that you've implanted, what you wanted. So I want you to think about it in these terms. You are the cause. What you do creates the condition. And your future is the effect. And always remember to know what will happen to you in the future. Simply observe what you are doing now. Manifest that.